Back here to Art, Florida, the population of St. Lucie County continues to skyrocket. Since 2010, its population has jumped over 30%. And with all those homes comes a need for infrastructure, roads, schools, hospitals, and a lot more. But also people in St. Lucie County are looking for new jobs and places to work. Take a look at this. From the U.S. Census Bureau, you can see a large yellow semicircle on the right shows 75,000 of the about 120,000 workers that live in St. Lucie County work outside of the county. That's about 63%. So to talk a little bit about what's going on when it comes to jobs in St. Lucie County, we're very excited to be joined by two members of the St. Lucie County Economic Development Council. We're very excited to have the Director of Workforce Readiness, Ms. Anita Fisher, and also the Senior Vice President, Wes McMurray. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
All right, Wes, let's start with you. We're going to talk about the specifics of some of the great jobs and businesses that are coming to St. Lucie County in a little bit. But I guess let's just talk broadly. Anecdotally, a lot of us who work in Palm Beach County, we work with people that have moved to Tradition, that have moved to St. Lucie County, but still commute down to Palm Beach County to work. So I guess how much is the effort of what you guys do trying to get people who are moving and living in St. Lucie County to work in St. Lucie County?
It's a big part of our effort, big part of our focus. As you mentioned, like 63% of our workforce commutes outside of the county every day to go to work. So that's time away from family, that's extra expense on their vehicles and commuting. And we have a very talented workforce, skill sets from professional to skilled trades that are commuting out every day. And that's an opportunity for employers that are coming into St. Lucie County to actually mine that workforce, get them off the highway to be able to spend more time with family. And we're seeing a lot of success with that.
I know the Palm Beach County Business Development Board, you're kind of pushing Palm Beach County trying to be like a tech hub. Is there like a specific type of business that St. Lucie County is really trying to go at to try to build a niche of what St. Lucie County can be for businesses?
So we've seen a lot of success across a lot of different industry sectors. A lot of distribution and logistics companies have come into the county over the last 7-8 years. We've also seen some manufacturing facilities come into the county. And recently, new hospital, Florida Coast Medical Center, opened within the county. So pretty diverse set of industry that's coming into the county. And I would say as far as our future focus, we're definitely looking at more of the kind of how can we target higher skill, higher wage jobs, maybe some tech companies, maybe some research and development.
Anita, if I could bring you in here, Wes mentioned the Florida Medical Center.
Right.
Talk a little bit about what that means, having a new hospital come to St. Lucie County.
Well, I think the most exciting part is, and we got to go tour the facility yesterday with 30 educators and counselors from St. Lucie Public Schools. And what we were doing is bringing them behind the scenes so they can see the skill set that was needed for our students in high school right now. And one of the things the engineer said is, we have skilled trades, right? It's not just doctors and nurses like everyone assumes. We have a brand new hospital with 300 and something new jobs, but truly we have skilled trades as well. We have plumbing, we have electricians, engineering. So there's so much more to a hospital than just doctors and nurses.
And of course the push has got to be within those schools to have these kids, after they graduate, to stay in St. Lucie County. There's got to be jobs for them to do.
That's exactly what we're doing, and we actually have a new foundation off the EDC called TC Seed. It's called Treasure Coast Center for Economic and Educational Development. And the great thing is we saw a need for workforce to stay in our backyard. So we actually are bridging the gap between business, St. Lucie Public Schools, nonprofits, and community partners. And we're working with St. Lucie Public Schools hand in hand with their new Classrooms to Careers initiatives.
Right. Wes, if we talk about Port St. Lucie a little bit, if people who know the history of Port St. Lucie, it was built to be a retirement community, 60 years ago. Now there's so many people living there, families, young people, but because of the way it started, there's really no downtown. Does that impact the kind of businesses that will come to Port St. Lucie?
No, it hasn't really impacted the kind of businesses. Because of Port St. Lucie's history and the way it was developed, it was platted as quarter-acre lots in the 50s and 60s, sold all across the world. There was no downtown that was planned, and there wasn't a lot of land that was platted and made available for large plots of land for business either. You know, there were, so that was a challenge for a long time for Port St. Lucie. That issue was, I don't want to say solved, but was greatly enhanced when the city took on the Southern Groves Jobs Corridor in Port St. Lucie, which is about a 1,200-acre stretch along 5 miles of I-95 from Becker Road up to Tradition Parkway. That whole area over the last 6 years has seen tremendous growth in new businesses coming in. Cheney Brothers, Excel International, Oculus Surgical, just a whole host of companies, everything from distribution to logistics to advanced manufacturing.
I know just recently you announced a armored car, facility that's coming. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, that one's really exciting. It's pretty unique. That's coming into Fort Pierce, which is a great project for Fort Pierce. 298 new jobs coming into the county, about 190,000 square foot manufacturing facility there with some office space as well. Good paying jobs, high skill in the automotive assembly kind of arena, probably averaging around $55,000 per year.
Wow.
And it's actually, with that 298 jobs, it's one of the top 10 new projects for 2025 within the state. So a really big win for Fort Pierce with that project.
Yeah, and Fort Pierce has a lot going on when it comes to new green space, a lot of development there going on. Are you finding that there are businesses across the country that want to move to Fort Pierce?
Yes, absolutely. And it's not just businesses either. It's also hospitality and entertainment. In downtown Fort Pierce, there's a new project called King's Landing that's starting to get underway there. They recently had a site plan approved by the city of Fort Pierce right downtown. It's a redevelopment project, former HD King power plant, which is going to be developed into a resort hotel, condos, some retail and restaurants. So bringing a lot of new activity into downtown Fort Pierce with that project.
A lot going on, that's for sure. Wes and Anita, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you coming in here to ARC Florida.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back.